So I'm Guenther Knoblich from the Cognitive Science Department at CU.
And my name is Manon Schweinfurth. I'm based in Scotland at the University of St Andrews. And I believe we met each other at a Synergy meeting. So would you like to tell us a little bit about the Synergy, please, Guenther?
There was an interdisciplinary project, right, where we worked together, researchers from St Andrews and CU, and we were interested in the question of social minds in general, but then we were asking whether social interaction in chimpanzees and humans is comparable and how they differ, right? And I just wonder, how did we come up with the idea of studying synchronized walking in chimpanzees?
I think it cropped up in one of our meetings, right? And you presented all your super cool research on coordinated actions in humans. And I mean, I just started wondering, how would chimpanzees do that? And so we had a chat after that presentation, and you told me about the fact that when humans walk next to each other, they fall into the same rhythm. And I thought, well, I guess I could look at walking behavior in chimpanzees.
And so then you went to Africa, right? After having had that idea, and you spent months there to collect the data, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about the environment there?
Yes, absolutely. I'm very glad that I can work at Chimfunshi. Chimfunshi is one of the world's largest chimpanzee sanctuaries, hosting over 130 chimps. It's located in Zambia. They rescue chimpanzees from difficult situations. So very often, and unfortunately this is still happening, mums are shot for bushmeat and then their chimpanzee babies are sold as pets. And Chimfunshi and their collaboration partners rescue those chimpanzees and give them a home there. And so they live in very spacious, large outdoor enclosures. And so for this particular project, we walked to the chimps. So the camp is like 5 kilometers away, so loads of walking. And we stood in front of that enclosure and observed their walking behavior. And whenever we saw them walking next to others, we started video recording. And so we did this day in and day out, basically, for 3 months for that project.
I was so excited when you showed us the first one, where basically, you know, it looked like the chimpanzees were walking in synchrony, just like humans in a pedestrian zone, right?
We had hours and hours of video data that we brought back from Africa. And I was very lucky that Cal and Dylan helped analyzing those videos. So without them, you know, I think we would be still sitting there analyzing them and staring at them.
I think it was sort of at the next meeting when we could look at the results after you'd done all of the work. So maybe you can tell us the key results.
So absolutely. So it was not just that one instance where it looked like the chimpanzees synchronized their steps, but indeed over all those videos we found that they did synchronize their steps. Much like humans, they tended to fall into the same rhythm. And that was quite pronounced. So we found, for instance, that in 80% of the steps that we analyzed, they were so tightly coordinated between the two walkers that they were in less than half a second that they took place. We found that they only coordinated, obviously, when they were walking with someone. So one skeptical person could say, you know, well, there are only so many ways how you can walk a street. So we looked also at individual walking behavior and then combined this, and the steps were really all over the place. So we found that they did coordinate action, but only when they were walking with someone. So then we started wondering, well, why do they coordinate actions? And then you mentioned that in humans, friends show much more pronounced coordination levels. So we quantified friendship in chimpanzees and looked at, well, do we find stronger coordination effect between friends? And we found nothing. Then we thought, well, maybe is it relatedness? But we also didn't find anything there. So they do coordinate actions like humans, that they fall into the same rhythm, but it doesn't seem to be the case that there are social factors modulating this in a way.
I think, you know, in humans, the explanation is that a lot of this synchronization is for social bonding, right? And I would have suspected that maybe, you know, this is also present in the chimpanzees. But I guess we can't say with certainty from this one study that it's really a systematic difference between humans and chimpanzees. So I guess if we have more studies in chimpanzees, we might actually find some effects of friendship on synchronies. Yeah, so I think we didn't completely rule that out, right?
What I thought was really fascinating in this project was that humans coordinate actions in very complicated ways, right? Think about group dances, orchestras, and sadly, very up-to-date military actions. Chimpanzees don't do that. And we've not quite understood why they don't show those complex levels of coordinations that humans show, although they are our closest living relatives. And so I think our study showed very nicely that at least those basic form of coordination, this unconscious coordinating of action, falling into the same rhythm, is shared between us and our closest living relatives. So I guess we need loads of more research in order to figure out why humans show this complex forms of coordination and where the divergence between us and chimpanzees happens in our coordination.